Tensions between Beijing and Canberra that have been simmering since April are at an all-time high now, as Beijing has refused to allow the World Health Organisation into Wuhan as part of their inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus. In their words, China warns, and I quote, "The writing is on the wall." For more on this and a couple of other matters, I'm joined by former Chairman of the Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee in the Parliament, Michael Danby. Michael, thank you for joining me. What do you make of this refusal by China to allow the World Health Organisation in to probe the origins of coronavirus?
Well, isn't it astonishing, Cory? Sorry for coming in, by the way, without a tie. You got me off the road during summer. So the arrogance, the power, the crushing, the arresting of people who organised a democratic election in Hong Kong, all of this is part of a pattern. With America distracted and divided as it is, you can see the Chinese government has sort of almost no limits to their arrogance and their power. This is crippled the world. They banned people going from city to city in China, but let people fly out through the world and spread it. The Wuhan biowarfare lab that Sherry Markson's investigated so thoroughly probably didn't deliberately leak this, but they had many, many reports over years about how bad their scientific hygiene was. Now, these blokes are getting off scot-free. And this week, I mean, you and I are both of European origin, Cory, and such a shame to see the Europeans do a trade deal with China. And the very week they won't allow the World Health Organisation, which has basically been very sympathetic to them, do a basic investigation into how this terrible plague has crippled the world.
Yes, it's an extraordinary decision, given that the World Health Organisation, as you say, in a master of understatement, is terribly sympathetic to them. So it does signify a new belligerence, I think, in China's outlets or performance and actions on the global stage, which has to be desperately concerning considering the power that they wield through the weight of their money.
What's next? You know, well, we're doing okay. I was amazed. I looked at the price of iron ore before I came on the program. It's I've never seen it higher, $167 a tonne. So we should keep selling it to them as long as we can. But you wouldn't be comfortable if you were the same size population as Australia, sitting in democratic Taiwan, which has free press, change of governments, a coffee shop culture. I was there for the elections in January last year. What a wonderful place. Asian people, Chinese people can do democracy. That's what Taiwan is the proof of. And it's probably why that dictator Xi wants to snuff it out in particular. The world China has changed, Cory, not us. It's not Australia's fault. It's not America's fault. It's not the poor people of Hong Kong or Taiwan. This bloke made himself a dictator like Stalin. And we have this international operation, the United Front Department, which is basically what in the Soviet era was called the Comintern. And it's a political operation all around the world designed to get their ends within the countries that they're targeted on.
And we're not strangers to it here in Australia. Of course, we've seen our university sectors targeted. We've seen some prominent Australians, of course, who have been shills, if I can put it like that, for the Chinese Communist Party. They've put business before patriotism. And we've also seen some very difficult issues attached to some MPs. And there's been some in the news this week with Gladys Liu, again, a Liberal MP, whom I've invited on the show now 3 times and we haven't had a response. But should we be concerned about the United Front's attempts to ingratiate themselves with our parliamentary processes?
Well, they're doing it all over the world, Cory. There's vast offices in Beijing organising this in every country. And of course, this bloke, who has been in contact with Gladys Liu, has been mentioned in an ASIO warrant. I think we got the whale, we got the Al Capone of the United Front Department some months ago when Mr Wang Jin-mo was not re-allowed entry to Australia after ASIO advised the federal government not to he was only a permanent resident. He hadn't become a citizen yet, thankfully. So we've got this foreign relations legislation. We've got this foreign interference bill. We've got to make sure we stick to it. We don't become paranoid about it. We are absolutely allowed to have debate in this country, and the Gebhreyesus and the Bob Carrs and the Nick Xenophons are all able to argue for Beijing's policies and Huawei as much as they like. But it's very important that we debate them and that the main political parties stick together when it comes to foreign interference and subversion in Australia. So there's a difference between free debate and having differences of views on China and what this United Front Department is trying to do. I don't think Gladys Liu is a threat to anyone. I think Scott Morrison's come to the view that she's pretty ineffectual and it'd be worse throwing her out than just sort of leaving her there. I don't think she's going to be the Minister for Foreign Affairs between you and me. So you just have to sort of be reasonable about how you approach these things.
That's very true. And all of those people that you've named are welcome to come onto this show whenever they'd like and to put their case forward, because I'd love to have that debate with them.
Absolutely.
But you're a Labor man.
Yep.
You're a Labor man through and through, and Labor aren't without some sort of attachments in this space, particularly in Victoria, in your home state. Daniel Andrews has signed on to the Belt and Road Initiative. Is this a good idea? Should the federal government intervene in it, or should it be allowed to continue?
It's not a good idea. It shouldn't continue. It's the naivety of state politicians who really don't know national security issues, who haven't sat on the Intelligence Committee or chaired the Foreign Relations Committee like I have, or sat in the National Security Committee of Cabinet. They don't understand what the comprehensive plan is behind these strategic moves like the Belt and Road Initiative for the United Front to extend its activities in the Australian Chinese community and in the general political community. They just don't get it. Now, thankfully, and it was very explicit that federal Labor doesn't support this, that Labor voted with the Liberals in the Senate, Cory, to see that new foreign relations bill was passed. And that gives the federal government the ability to override these kind of things, including Confucius Institutes and all various other agreements that other people who don't follow these issues have entered into with the new, very aggressive Beijing government. But every opportunity has to be sought carefully and used carefully. And I know the federal government, like the federal opposition, would support this Belt and Road Initiative agreement here being overridden, but they shouldn't just do it for no purpose. Let's wait to see what next anti-Australian manoeuvre Beijing pulls, and at the appropriate occasion we should give them an answer back by cancelling this Belt and Road Initiative. And one thing I'd like to appeal to you and to all of the Sky broadcasters is, let's ask the Premier of Victoria, Dan Andrews, have you had that ASIO security briefing? I mean, please, you're a smart bloke, you're very good at infrastructure, go and find out the facts. And then you'll understand why there are so many people who understand that this Belt and Road Initiative is a strategic plan. It's a political plan. It's not something to do with economics or benefiting manufacturing or economic development in Victoria. It has a much wider purpose. Yes, we should have foreign investment, including by China. There's nothing wrong with them buying a port here if it's only for 50 years and we get 3 times the value and it's only partially owned by China. But they shouldn't be allowed to buy our electricity networks or our gas networks or I think 100% ownership of the Port of Darwin is a big mistake, Cory.
I know, Michael, many Australians would agree with you. And so thank you for your insights tonight. You're welcome on this show, with or without a tie, anytime you want to come on. So thank you very much for breaking the holiday.
Good on you, mate. And I'm happy to come on here and debate Bob Carr anytime.
I'll look forward to it.